All right, what's up, guys? So basically, I'm going to try to keep this as short as I possibly can. All I'm going to do is run down the stats for the Champions League game. I took off three games that I did not really like at all. You'll see which ones those are, but these are for Tuesday and Wednesday games. All I'm going to do here is go in, preview them, give all the hot stats, give all the facts, and I'm not even going to make plays yet. Probably have those out later tonight or in the morning. But I just want to give the numbers because I think there's some very interesting games here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull up the lines. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to pull up the lines and I'm going to go over the stats for these. So see, that looks okay. Okay, cool. And let's get it in here. Okay, so Sporting Tottenham, really interesting numbers for cards on this. Over 4.5 cards, 4-1 for Sporting, 5-1 for Tottenham in the last six. Less than 10.5 corners is 7-1 for Sporting in the last eight. Over 2.5 goals, 5-2 for Sporting. Under 2.5 is 4-1 for Tottenham. Probably going to lay off a total in this one. Other key numbers here: Sporting have won 3 straight games. Tottenham haven't lost in 7. We have the total at over 2.5, spread at a quarter here. Spread was actually at plus a half when I looked at this. Let's see what the price difference is. So it was minus 134 for plus a half for Sporting right now, which was a little different from minus 125 earlier. So about 10 cents different. A little bit of money coming in on Sporting. I don't disagree. So I'm going to go down here, just queue up these card stats real quick, or card props, I guess I should say. Over 4.5 bookings, minus 150. Probably a pretty fair price considering those are 9-2 the last meetings. Tottenham lost 2-0 to or beats Marseille 2-0 last week after Marseille got a red card, and Sporting beat Frankfurt 3-0. Two games that both involved late scoring there. So interesting matchup, not the best game on paper in my opinion. So let's keep moving here. Let's go to the next one. Leverkusen versus Madrid. Atletico, no losses in 4 straight games. Leverkusen, no wins in 3 straight games. Both teams without a clean sheet in 3 games apiece. Over 2.5 is 5-1. Key number, in my opinion, for this game is actually Atletico first to score, 9-1, which is also even for this game being on the road. Very enticing here. The play that's 9-1, hitting 90% in the last 10. Over 4.5 cards is going to be the highest graded play for this game. It is 5-0 for Madrid in their last five, 5-2 for Leverkusen in their last seven, and less than 10.5 corners. I don't have numbers for Madrid on that one, but it's 6-1. To the under for Leverkusen in this game. So let's see card lines. Yeah, over 4.5 cards, very juiced at minus 175. Hard to disagree with that one. Oh, first half over 1.5. Might get there. We'll see. And the corners, less than 10.5, minus 215, priced very fairly. If I'm going to go with something here, it's probably going to be with this Madrid first goal. Let's keep moving. Byron versus Barcelona. Very, very interesting matchup. Probably the matchup of the day tomorrow. We have Byron at minus 112, and very interesting stat for this one. They're actually winning 70% of games when they're a minus 115 favorite. They haven't lost in 24 straight UCL games at home. That's 23 wins and 1 draw. Looked pretty good last week at Inter. No losses in 9 games for Bayern. No losses in 14 games for Barcelona. Over 2.5, 6-0 for Barcelona. First goal, 5-1 for Barcelona, 7-2 for Bayern. Bayern have also won 7 of the last 9 first halves they played in. That first half over 1.5, you won't see that price at plus 102 in the morning. You can guarantee that. Less than 4.5 cards. Bayern 6-2, Barcelona 5-1. And the last 3 relevant head-to-heads were in 2020 and 2021. The over 3 goals is 3-0. Bayern first to score is 3-0. And over 10.5 corners have horrible numbers. So definitely laying off corners in this game. So let's check this out. Bayern first goal minus 155. Rather play a first half spread instead of that, just in my opinion. And here we go. Bookings 4.5. Less than is a combined 11-3 for these two teams, and I'm seeing that at minus 112. That might be a look. The value tomorrow, after going through all these games, you'll see that the value is going to be on under corners and especially under on cards. So We'll see if these corner line moves. Right now, 10.5 is plus 135. If that moves to closer to plus 115, you're going to have a playable price on the under 10.5. Definitely might be a good look for a parlay piece tomorrow as well. So we'll see. We're going to keep moving here. We're going to go to Liverpool versus Ajax next, which is going to be a very, very interesting game, especially given the fact that Ajax is at +1, which probably most people wouldn't expect that. It's with how Liverpool's been playing. Ajax, crazy numbers right now. No goals conceded in 5 straight, 7 straight wins, no losses in 8 games. Over 2.5, 5-2 for Ajax, 4-1 for Liverpool in their last 5. Ajax first to score in 6 straight games. Pool have given up the first goal in 6 of 8. Ajax first half money line 6-0. Liverpool first half losers 6-2 last 8. Less than 4.5 cards, 12-1 combined for these two teams. Quarter numbers totally split. We got 4-1 for Liverpool, 1-5 for Ajax. That's a pass from me. Liverpool hot stat for this game is actually crazy. They have won 35 games, drawn 9, and only lost 2 in their home opener in European competition, whether that's UCL or Europa League. Crazy, crazy numbers. So that leads me to obviously most of that is irrelevant data. However, that is very hard number to fade with that many games. I would say Ajax first half has got to be the best play on this board, even if you're taking them at +0.5, in my opinion. 6 straight first halves. They looked amazing last week. And even I played first half -1 this weekend, and that was a win. They've been looking great against everybody. This corners might be a pass for me just because they're completely split. I could see this going either way. 10.5 on the under is very intriguing. And cards. This is the bread and butter spot for this game. At least it seems like it would have to be less than 4.5 cards, 12-1 combined. Perfect number for the books here. They put it at -155. This is one that you're going to have to shop around on, but I think that under 4.5 cards, definitely going to be a look for this game. Anyhow, let's keep it moving here. Now we're going to go to the Wednesday games. I skipped over a couple games. 2 I skipped over, Pleasant versus Milan, and I skipped over Porto versus Bruges. I don't like the numbers. I don't really have any key stats for those games. I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on those. And the next game I'm passing on is Marseille Frankfurt, in fact. So skipping 3 games, and I think I'd skip a total of 4 because I'm also going to skip Shakhtar versus Celtic. And so let's move on. Milan versus Zagreb. Zagreb 6 straight wins. Milan 10 straight games with no losses. Great win by them this weekend with a red card down a man. Both teams have scored 6-2 in their last 8 games. 3 straight games without a clean sheet. Zagreb, very similar numbers to Ajax here. First goal 6-0. Card numbers are split, kind of like the Ajax Liverpool corners were. Milan have hit over 4.5 cards, 6 of their last 7 games. Zagreb, only 2 of their last 8 games. Now, good numbers for corners here, and these are going to be juiced. I haven't even looked at them yet. We're seeing 10.5 corners, the under -240, and that is quite frankly because Milan 8-1 to the under 10.5, Zagreb 5-1 to the under 10.5 in their last 6 games. Milan also winning 70% of games when they're -400 favorite. I don't like this spread. I really don't like this game. This is 99% probably going to be a pass for me. If you throw Zagreb +2.5 in a parlay, I don't think that's going to lose. But unless I play it like that, I'm probably going to be a very hard pass from me. So next game, Chelsea versus Salzburg. And before I get into this game, I'm going to say that I am no way going to play this game. I love Chelsea's new coach, and I hate Chelsea, and they've looked like complete dog water all season. They just haven't looked good. Their new coach is from Brighton, is just incredible. I have a very high standard for this guy. I think he's probably one of the, if not the best coach in the world, at least a top 5 coach in the world. And I think he can turn Chelsea into who they were previously. So we'll see. This is going to be a pass for me, but I'm going to give you the numbers. Salzburg first goal, 8 straight, won the first half and 4 of their last 5. Chelsea, no clean sheets in 6 straight games, over 2.5, 5-1 for Chelsea, less than 10.5 corners. Good numbers for Salzburg here, 4-1 to the under. However, hot stat for this game, Salzburg are 1-4 in their last 5 games against English competition, not scoring in 4 of those games. Chelsea obviously haven't looked very good. We'll see how Potter does on the bench here. We'll see. This is just kind of an interesting spot. I don't really like it. And I've seen people joining the chat on YouTube too. What's up, guys? Just running down these games real quick. Going to do the same thing with Italy, Spain, France later this week. Trying to keep this short. We're at 10 minutes right now. I might lose my voice, but we only have like 4 more games. So already about halfway through this one. So thanks for tuning in, guys. This will be short. Next game we're going to go to might actually be my favorite game of the day, which is Copenhagen versus Sevilla. And I hate to say that. Interesting quarter spreads here. This does kind of scream draw. I'm sure plenty of people will be playing draw tomorrow. Less than 10.5 corners, 6-1 for Copenhagen, 5-2 for Sevilla. That's a combined 12-3 to the under. And best number on the board, over 4.5 cards. You have 7-2 for Copenhagen and 5-1 for Sevilla. That's over 4.5 cards. Forgive me if I misspoke on that one. And probably get lines for this tomorrow. Don't see any lines yet, but when that line opens, keep your eye on it for corners and cards in that. Over 2.5, 8-2 for Copenhagen. Sevilla haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 straight games. Halftime, full-time result is hit in 6 of the last 7 for Copenhagen. So if this is a draw at halftime, this is exactly what I'm going to play. If it's 1-1 at halftime, if it's 0-0 at halftime, I'm playing draw, 100%. Copenhagen lost 0-3 to Dortmund last week. Sevilla lost 4-0 to City. Copenhagen actually have a crazy stat here, which is they have a 60% win rate when they're at plus 260. Crazy. That is very impressive. And on the flip side of that, I got to give Sevilla's numbers here. They've won 56% of games when they're a plus 105 favorite. So it's kind of a key number there. Definitely going to be keeping my eye on this game when I get corner and card lines especially. And going into the next one here, we have Juventus versus Benfica, both at a quarter spread here. Very interesting. Benfica, 17 straight wins. Juve, 3 straight games, no wins, no clean sheet. 4-1, both teams have scored. Benfica scored first in 8 of the last 10. Juventus under 10.5 corners in 6 of the last 7. And I don't know what happens in this game. This is probably going to be a hard pass for me. I'm not really going to trust these Italian teams. These Portuguese teams have looked fantastic. So definitely a pass from me on this one. And maybe the most interesting game of the second day here is going to be Haifa versus Psg. Haifa at home. Interesting stat for this game. Psg 9 straight UCL away games without a clean sheet. PSG haven't lost in 22 straight games, which is unreal, draws and wins included. Less than 10.5 corners is a combined 9-2. Both teams to score 5-2 for Haifa. PSG won the first half of 9 of the last 10, 90%. That's a huge win rate. Over 4.5 cards is 5-1 for PSG in their last 6. My eye is going to be on this both teams to score here, or PSG win and both teams to score. I think it's a good look. Let's see what the price on that is. It is plus 140. I think that's a very good price. So be keeping my eye on that, and especially these corner and card props as they come out later in the week, presumably tomorrow. Then we got City -2 versus Dortmund here, who is +2, total at 3.5, and for good reason. 10 of the City's last 13 games at home have seen 4+ goals. Head-to-head, we actually have plenty of head-to-head data here, so I'm just going to run down that real quick. Less than 4.5 cards, 7-0. Both teams to score 5-2. City haven't lost and have no losses in 8 straight games. Over 2.5, 7-1 in their last 8. Less than 4.5 cards, 5-0 for City. Less than 10.5 corners, 4-1 for City. Dortmund first half money line and first team to score are both 4-1, which is kind of interesting, but different beast with City coming into this game. So definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this both teams to score. That is an interesting angle to take. But definitely if I can get this cards at a good price, I'm definitely going to play the under on 4.5 cards in this game. So wish we had lines for these, don't have them yet. And I got 2 more games here. Napoli Rangers, we got this actually moved a little bit. I had this listed as, let's see how much this moved. I had it at 0.75. -122 for Rangers. So yeah, this actually didn't move. They just changed which one they're displaying here. So I think this is a fair price. This is going to be a very interesting game. Over 2.5, 8-1 for Rangers. No clean sheet in 3 straight. Less than 4.5 cards in 4 of their last 5 games. Under 10.5 corners in 8 straight games, which is actually crazy considering the fact that Rangers are usually a wagon for their corners at home, at least their team total. This might be a very, very strong play. This minus 140 at under 10.5 corners. Very interesting. I prefer to back home teams rather than away teams when the stats are split because Napoli have hit over 10.5 in 5 of the last 7. But typically the home teams dominate. Rangers like to control possession at home. I could definitely see these corners going under. Unless the Rangers go down like 2-0, this is probably going to sail way over. So this is an interesting stat here. Napoli actually no losses in 18 straight of these games, more than 4.5 cards in 4 of the last 5. Napoli obviously dominating Liverpool last week 4-1, and Ajax knocked the Rangers out of the building, ran them off the field, 4-0 win. And the craziest stat of any game this week, and the most random stat you will hear all week, is that the Rangers have not lost a game on a Wednesday at home since March of 2020. So really just kind of a weird stat for that. And I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. So threw that in there. Somebody just commented thoughts on Napoli team total under 1.5 at plus 100. Ooh, that's tough. I haven't made any selections yet. I'm kind of just running through these stats as I gathered them, wrote them down, and just kind of previewing these. I see that plus 102 right here. That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like this game goes over. I feel like 2.5 is a very good number for this total, and I think you can get that. Let's see what it says. It's probably minus 130, minus 132. I think that's a very fair number for this total, and I could see this going over. And I did give the numbers for that as well. Rangers over 2.5 in 8 of their last 9. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the shot there. I think you're probably better off playing over 3 at even money there. But I don't know. Definitely will be giving that a second look later this week. And last game I'm going to cover here, guys, Real Madrid -1 versus Leipzig. Total here is at 3.25. To me, I don't think there's any value on first half. I feel like this -1 is a push at best for Madrid. They definitely should win this game. But very weird Madrid style of play right now. They haven't actually scored in the first half in 4 straight UCL games, which is kind of crazy considering how high scoring a lot of their games have been. Over 2.5 goals, 6-0 for Real Madrid in their last 6. Leipzig 6-1 to the over 2.5 in their last 7. Real Madrid no losses in 9 straight, wins in 8 of those 9, 1 draw. Both teams' scores 5-1, and less than 4.5 cards is 8-1 for Madrid. I kind of feel like second half, highest scoring half here. Let's see what that number is going to be at, because I think that is something you could target here at minus 105. Especially just how many goals we've been seeing from them in the second half. I think that's definitely playable. And so anyways, I'm going to hop off, guys. That's all I got for today. Good preview on Tuesday games, Wednesday games. I'll make a separate video with my picks for these slates, maybe in the morning, maybe tonight. I really would like to see those card and corner lines out before I make picks, but I don't know if they're going to be out before these next games kick off. So anyways, that's all I got for you. We'll be back later this week. We're going to do the same thing with Italy, A, B, Spain, France, and I actually don't even know if the EPL is back this week. I guess they might be back Sunday. I'm not even sure. So we'll take a look, dive into it, and we'll be back with another video tomorrow, probably start off with Bundesliga or Spain. So thanks for tuning in, guys.